Well, welcome to day 4 of the 5-day summer blast. Our topic today has to do with meditation and relaxation, exercise, and sleep. So I thought we would start with the opposite of sleep, which is to raise your heart rate and exercise so that you get a sense of your heart rate at its highest. So, or where you want to be right now. In fact, I don't know if you want to go that high, but I'm going to turn my stopwatch on and we'll start just kind of finding out, do you measure your heart rate when you're exercising?
No.
Oh, you never have. Do you know how to measure your heart rate?
No.
Okay, so let's learn about that. Amy, do you know how to measure your heart rate?
Yeah, is that when you take your pulse, like for 30 seconds, multiply by 2 beats per minute?
Yeah, you can do it that way. Can you find your pulse? Let's start with finding your pulse. Let me find my stopwatch. Okay. It's funny, I had my stopwatch on for, since the last time I used it, it was like 666 million. So that's so funny. Now I've got to go back to my stopwatch. Okay. So you can find it in your neck. You might find it in your neck with a blood vessel. You feel the heartbeat there? Yeah. Yep. Okay. You can find it in the radial portion of your wrist. That's the thumb side, where your radius is. You find it there. You may have an app on your phone that takes your pulse. Then you put your finger on the camera and takes your pulse from your finger. So, but let's do the old-fashioned way now, and see if you can find it. I'll count down. I'll tell you when to start, okay? On your mark, get set, go. Stop. What'd you get? That was 30 seconds. So you can multiply by 2.
I got 64.
Okay. And
Mine's
Amy?
68.
68?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So let's see if we can deliberately raise our heart rate with just marching in place. And you let me know when you're ready. Or you can jog if you want to jog. Okay. Here we go. We're going to jog for a minute and then we're going to stop and grab your heart rate, all right? Here's a jog for a minute. And if you want to go even further, you can do jumping jacks. Going. Turning sideways to be more on my carpet. upper body, lower body. It's good to raise your heart rate with these. We're 45 seconds. You've got 15 seconds more. Three, two, one, and hold it. Stop. See if you can find your heart rate. Count your heart rate.
Do we start?
Yes. And stop and continue for 10 more seconds. If you didn't, Barbara, start late. Okay, and stop, Barbara. What'd you get up to? How many beats per minute?
8 times 70, 76.
Okay, so that was pretty slow or low for you.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah.
like I didn't hear you say start, so I didn't start, but then I was like trying to figure out my timer to start my own, but I could feel it slowing down from like immediately when I stopped moving. I was like, as soon as I sat down, it just slowed. It felt quick to slow down.
Okay. Amy, how about you?
Well, I wonder, Barbara, did you multiply it by 2?
Yeah.
Well, I gave you I did a whole minute.
Oh,
I only
Oh.
timed mine for 30 seconds. So I
Oh,
messed it up.
we'll do it again. Amy, what about you? Did you multiply by 2?
I did, but you had us do our pulse for how long?
It was a minute. You did the pulse for a minute.
Oh, okay. So now I forgot my number. It was 70 something.
Okay, so if you're doing your jumping jack, so this is how we're going to do it. If you're just sitting and you're taking your pulse, it's fine to take it to 30 seconds and then multiply by 2. If you're running and then you stop and take your pulse will slow down if you're healthy. And so the number, you can't just multiply by 2 because it's not going to be the same in the second half for a healthy heart, if you have a healthy heart. So that's why I'm going to count all the way through, give you 60 seconds to count now that we're doing exercise. Okay, so you're going to have 60 seconds of intense exercise. And then I'm
Okay.
going to go right away and count. Right away, you have to find your pulse right as soon as you stop.
Okay.
And then I'll give you another 60 seconds. So you just keep counting. You don't have to count when you're exercising. You count when you stop.
Okay.
And it'll be a minute for each one.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And the idea is to see if you can go up to your maximum. Close
Yeah,
to your
I didn't
maximum.
hear the start time last time, so
Okay.
I'll just
So
pay
it-
attention to
Yeah,
that.
so stand up and get ready. On your mark, get set, go. Here's 30 seconds. Keep going. There's 40 seconds. Keep going till 60. I'll let you know. Here's 50 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. And now find your pulse and start. Start. Okay, here's 30 seconds. Keep going. And stop. What your numbers? Amy, you go first.
Mine was 75.
Okay, was that your maximum heart rate? Did you feel breathless?
I don't know. I did feel what Barbara said. I sure felt it slowing down as we were going through the 60 seconds,
Mhm.
as I was counting.
Barbara, what about you?
I got 115. So 230.
230 is, we didn't double it.
Oh,
There's no
okay. So
doubling.
then just 115.
Yeah. Yeah, we went the full 60 seconds.
Oh, okay. So then you don't need to double.
Right. Okay, so good. If you had a blood sugar monitor, then I would say to you, let's check your blood sugar and see what it is. Sometimes it goes up. Generally, when you're already up and you do this fast, intense exercise for 2 minutes, it drops down. Did you get your Keto Mojo?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So that'll be fun to play with once you get that.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow I'll have it.
Okay. Okay, so now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to see how we can slow our heart rate down and feel relaxed. So, but we'll do that in a few minutes. I want to just read to you from my book. Here we go again. The 10 best ways to supercharge your health. I have some good things in there to learn and read about. So I have set this up so I can go right to it. Okay, so I'm going to read to you about how to sleep well and reduce stress. Those 2 separate chapters, and there's little bits of subtitles under there. So we'll talk about that. Let's see. Of course, I changed the placement. I'll have to go back to it. Okay, this is chapter 6, how to sleep well. So, it's better to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. So are you able to do that?
Mhm.
You don't need to do that.
I
Your
think
sleep
that's
is
important. I try to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. Barbara, do you have any problems with sleep?
No.
No. So you can go to sleep and wake up and feel fine the next day if you don't get very much sleep?
Oh no. I mean, I like to get between like 8 and 9 hours if I can. I don't really have trouble sleeping. But it doesn't, like, I don't go to bed at the same time every night.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I don't wake up at the same time every day, I guess. But I do get up pretty early, like around like 7. It's between 7 and 8.
Okay. So if you don't have problems going to sleep, that's great. And if you do have problems, there are some things to do. For instance, don't watch television for an hour if you can avoid TV or blue light or being on your cell phone.
Oh
At
yeah,
least
I have
I know.
here. Oh, go ahead. Keep going.
That's all right. You don't want to, I know for a lot of people, you don't want to be talking to your partner about money or stressful events before you're going to sleep. Sometimes those money conversations come in at times when you're relaxed. So, or you know these things normally, just would you have stress? You try to release the stressful events before you sleep, or you avoid bad news. If I don't know if that bothers you, try to minimize electricity in your bedroom and even in any room if you can, so you're not by electric clocks all the time. It's just don't have an electric clock in your bedroom. You don't have televisions and radios. For those who are sensitive to EMGs, electromagnetic frequencies, EMFs, and don't forget to take your watch off. Do you guys have a complete electric-less bedroom? Do you have things? I think so many of us have TVs in our bedroom.
Yeah, that's like a rule. That's a house rule for me. No TV in the bedroom.
That's great. That's great.
I could be better about charging my phone outside of the bedroom. And I do have an electric clock, which I didn't, and an air purifier.
And
So
are you able to take out the lights? Do you have any lights coming into your bedroom?
in the
Like this?
morning, yeah, I do. See, this is like all natural light, and the bedroom
Okay.
is the same.
So it
and
helps
see
you wake up.
my place too. Yeah, I get the light. And I like to wake up with the sun, I guess, and go outside and get sun first thing, go for a walk. But as far as I have these like blue blockers,
Uh-huh.
for like looking at any screen. I kind of just put these on
I have these
at
too.
night. Yes, those are cute ones.
These are cute, aren't they?
Mine
I
are
got
like
this.
red.
I think I got this at the drugstore or something. I can't remember where I got them. I just cleaned them up a little bit. So I'll put them on now.
Yeah, these are my night glasses. But I don't wear them that often because I feel nerdy in them. But and then or on my phone, there's like an accessibility to make it red.
Oh,
So you
I don't
and
have
with
that.
the computer too. So it filters out the blue light.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't know if you have an
Yeah.
iPhone, but I can send the directions on how to do that.
Yeah, I don't have an iPhone. I have the new Ultra, which is the latest model on the,
Oh wow.
yeah. But I
I'm
think it has automatic. It says daylight.
Yeah, that's
Daylight.
nice.
Nice, yeah. Okay, I'll investigate that. And do you have a particular ritual that you use before you go to bed? If you don't have a problem with sleeping, you may not have that ritual. Like, do you take a hot shower? Or do you simulate with it when you get out? You take a towel, rub your skin when you dry off? Or do you use essential oils? Or listen to calm music?
Sometimes I like to watch like a Bonnie on YouTube.
You watch a Bonnie on YouTube, that'll put you to sleep.
Yeah, it always does. But then that's like the computer too. I find I have a lot of computer usage, which is tough on me because it just burns my eyes so much.
Yeah.
My eyes are
Amy,
really sensitive to light.
yeah.
That's
Amy,
my
what about you? Yeah, that's your what?
biggest complaint, daily complaint is just eye sensitivity.
Mm-hmm. Amy, do you have any rituals for bedtime?
Yeah, I like since well, for a long time, I've read the Bible before going to bed. I read the Bible in a year, and so every night before bed, I sit in the massage chair, read that, and then I go upstairs and Sarah, you got me doing the essential oils in the morning when we exercise. I do them at night before going to bed and put a balm on my feet. And like you're saying, I don't look at any screens.
Okay. That's good. That's good. I'm always looking. I need to know where I need to know where Tyler is, my son. So if he's not in the house, then I need to check and see where he is. And I've got a GPS locator on my phone. So I have to turn my phone on to see that. I also need to check my blood sugar before I go to bed, make sure that's low. I do, if there's music on, I listen to it. That usually keeps me awake. Unlike my husband, he does very well with music at night. He can fall right to sleep. He doesn't really have problems going to sleep. I don't have problems going to sleep now. I'm on my schedule, and usually, unless I have some big events coming up, then I'm up. So I also am using electric stim on my legs to help with cramps while I'm sleeping, and that's been a big help. So I use that, and I go into the bathtub to relax my nervous system, which also helps with the cramping. So
I've been told that the cold, that's when I was recommended to do the cold on like at the end of the shower on your feet. It'll just put you to sleep.
For me, it won't. It'll make my feet colder, and I have a little neuropathy, and I don't want to get them cold because it takes a long time to warm them up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be the opposite.
Yeah.
What is the electric stim?
Oh, it's one of those it's not a vibrating, it's electrical, battery operated. You put electrodes along on your skin.
Like the TENS unit?
Yeah. Like
Okay.
a TENS unit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's helpful.
It's curious, Barbara, about that you heard that getting your feet cold before bed would help you fall asleep. I've always heard that you need to warm them up. For me, it helps in the winter, I put a bed buddy in the bottom of the bed, something that has like rice or flax or whatever, heated up in the microwave.
Yeah.
What'd you call that? A bed buddy?
Bed buddy. But to me, I've always heard that you need to have like warm feet to kind of let you calm down and go to sleep. To me, the cold, like you're saying, Sarah, would stimulate me, would waken me up.
Yeah. Yeah. As I've gotten less body fat, I've gotten more sensitive to cold, which makes sense. And so I was taking cold showers, which is great. So, but now I'm making sure that I feel up to taking the cold shower, and I definitely can't take a cold shower before bed. So
yeah, I think the thinking was that the energy that the body uses to warm the feet back up afterwards just kind of makes you tired.
Maybe it's so. I think for people that are in middle age or not or younger, that might be invaluable. That might be workable. If as you get older and you have maybe slower blood flow or less capillaries, it's harder to be colder. Yeah. I don't want to be cold then.
My sister has Raynaud's, so she definitely can't do any of the cold stuff.
Yeah, I have little Raynaud's also. Not exactly diagnosed, but by symptoms, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. So here we go. And Raynaud's also is a part of the low thyroid issues.
Wow.
Yeah. Because one of the symptoms
Good
of
to know.
low thyroid is that you get cold easily, which
Well,
I
I'm
do.
always cold,
Yeah. Are you always cold?
unless it's really hot. But yeah, I definitely run cold.
Oh, all the reason to get your thyroid checked.
Right.
And since it's in your family, twice the reason to have it checked. So, okay, keep that in mind
And
next
then,
time.
yeah, that's another question, but for another time.
What was question? Ask the
Or
question.
just curious about like what is the thyroid connect? Is that like how do you manage low thyroid? Is that
Yeah,
food
so
related or blood glucose insulin related?
it's also has genetic relatedness. It relates to
Okay.
some genes that you have. And it's also affected by being low in your blood sugar, maybe high in your blood sugar, but and what was one food? The food is very important. Getting enough protein if you have low thyroid.
Mm.
And then making sure you have the balance of the thyroid hormones. So so you don't have antibodies that are fighting your thyroid.
Right. That's the autoimmune.
Yeah. And that you have natural T3 in your body, natural T4. You have that your body's producing these hormones, and you measure those hormones free, unbound T3 and free, unbound T4. And then there's more things to measure depending on how thorough you want to be. And I think I mentioned, yes, go ahead.
Are those the hormones that the thyroid releases, or is the free T3 and or the T3 and T4?
Yes, those are the hormones that the thyroid releases. But there's also T2 and T1, which are rarely measured. And there's other, there's TRH, there's precursor hormones that your thyroid releases, TRH. And you can also check for reverse T3. And those are more advanced tests that this lab called Dutch Labs at Precision Analytics does. And the Dutch Labs are foremost hormone testers in the country. But your doctor has to work with them. So you could ask your doctor if he could prescribe you thyroid testing from Dutch Labs. See if you do it.
Yeah.
But you may not need it. You could just start with the basic TSH. Is what's in medicine is traditional now. Just get a TSH test. Thyroid stimulating hormone. Your pituitary is producing it. So, you know, there could be upstream and your pituitary is not stimulating your thyroid. There's other issues that could be happening, but don't have to worry about that. I don't think that's an issue, that part of it anyway. I don't think the pituitary is, you would probably feel more effects if that were a cause. So, I don't know if you know about this study in 2017, published in the Environmental Health Perspectives. It talks about the higher risk for breast cancer in women who live in areas of greater outdoor light at night, and especially if they work during nighttime hours. So make sure you pull down your shades and block any light in your room, you know, unless you're planning to use the sunlight to wake you up. So even the red or blue lights on your TV and your electric clocks, then make sure there is no light in your room while you sleep. There's also a great book called Lights Out, Sleep, Sugar, and Survival by T.S. Wiley and Bent Formby, F-O-R-M-B-Y, Formby. T.S. Wiley has written lots of books. They said, when we don't get enough sleep in sync with seasonal light exposure, we fundamentally alter a balance of nature that has been programmed into our physiology since day one. This delicate biological rhythm rules the hormones and neurotransmitters that determine appetite, fertility, and mental and physical health. When we rely on artificial light to extend our day until 11 p.m., midnight, and beyond, we fool our bodies into living in a perpetual state of summer. Sounds good to me. Anticipating the scarce food supply and forced inactivity of winter, our bodies begin storing fat and slowing metabolism to sustain us through the months of hibernation and hunger that never arrive. Our own survival instinct, honed over millennia, is now killing us. So in other words, when we're living in artificial light, instead of going to sleep when the sun goes down, we're cutting off that natural physiological rhythm where we start to hibernate and gather fat to keep us warm, sustain us. That never arrives. And so we're now getting too much fat if you're not getting out in the sun and moving around, and you're not slowing your metabolism down. So I think I just contradicted myself, but it does say, anticipating the scarce food supply and the forced inactivity of winter, our bodies begin storing fat and slowing metabolism to sustain us through months of hibernation and hunger that never arrive. So I guess we're still trying to survive with slowing metabolism and storing fat. And that's what's killing us. I think that's what it meant. So have you heard that idea before?
I've never heard it related to the to the storing fat for hibernating. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that, but big time. I study circadian rhythms and try to learn about it and how it affects the melatonin and leptin resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I struggle because my partner is like loves the TV and loves to watch TV at night to wind down.
Mm-hmm.
And it really creates an issue in the house because I don't want it on. I don't want the light on. I don't like the sound. And for him, it's just like super soothing. That's how he winds down. So it's a struggle. I have a hard time with that. Because when it's on, it's in the whole house. Like the light is reflecting on the house. But I also do so much computer work that sometimes it keeps me up on the computer. But I have like the red filter and other things. So it's like I know I could set more firm boundaries around it for me personally as far as my computer usage, but it's really hard to tell someone else what to do. And he doesn't really believe it. It's a lot of the stuff that I learn, I feel like it's like just because someone said something that it's true, and he's plays the devil's advocate a little bit.
Yeah, that's difficult. I never had a television in my apartment when I lived by myself, but my husband brought one into our life.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get addicted to the TV.
Yeah.
So,
I don't have a problem with it. I don't like TV. I think I have a little bit too much, like I have to be, like my ADHD doesn't allow me to watch TV.
Oh, you have ADHD?
I don't know if I do. I mean, I'm just self-diagnosed. I don't think it's like very extreme, but I have a hard time sitting down and watching like a movie or a TV show and TV.
Reading a book? Can you read a book?
I've gotten better. I used to struggle with reading books, but I've gotten better.
And how about taking tests, sitting down, taking tests?
Yeah, that's okay, but it's been a long time since I've had to do that.
Yeah. So I wrote a manual for parenting children that have ADHD that I published on Tony Robbins' website called Mastermind.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and
I remember that because I did your ADHD class.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
When we were working with the brain.
Yeah. so
My,
helpful.
my parents definitely have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet they were successful. They were able to
Mhm.
provide for you and have jobs, and
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, I don't think that they're aware of it at all, but yeah. So yeah, with me the TV isn't really like a big deal. Like I don't get sucked into the TV, but yeah, that was another question I had for you as far like you mentioned your husband is a great cook and everything, and like how is like the food restrictions within like your
within the,
like
within the
how does
house.
yeah, is it
Yeah.
challenging?
It has been challenging, but I just, I just say no. He knows that I'm not going to eat potatoes or rice. So
Mhm.
he'll make the meal, and then he might put like a half a teaspoon of something on my plate, just so it looks like I have that.
Mhm.
And for the conformity, I'd say, for
Conformity, yeah.
conforming that I have the same as he does, and then I can have a taste if I want it.
Mhm.
And so but he's really shifted to help me do what I need to do. So
Aw,
that's great.
that's so great. And
It's
I'm sure
really
it's
great.
worked out for him also.
Yeah, I think he's less appreciative of that aspect, but it's coming.
Yeah, I
I'm
understand
so convinced. I have such convictions that it's hard to be around me and not follow me. So
that. Right. Yeah.
he's kind of
I'm
joined.
really yeah. My boyfriend has a hard time with it. Cause he's also a cook and
Oh,
Italian and food and he's a foodie.
yeah. Well, my husband's a foodie. I mean, he's Hispanic, so food is number one. And
Wow.
that is a genetic. That's genetics. I mean, I feel like it's culture and runs in the culture.
Mhm.
I could take it or leave it. For me, I could take it or leave it.
Mhm. Me too.
Amy, what about you?
Well, like with what Barbara was saying, I also struggle with, actually, my husband and I and our son all have the ADHD, and it drives my son crazy. I don't know if you guys have seen, like on YouTube or whatever, there's a skit with a skit with Jim Gaffigan, Drew Lynch,
He's so great. I love Jim
being
Gaffigan.
married to someone with ADHD. And he compares it like to being a Roomba, those devices that will clean your floor, but they don't really have any direct reason why to go over here, over there.
Those vacuum cleaners that you plug in, and then you don't have to plug them in. They just move around on the floor, always cleaning the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, are you dead on the floor cleaning the floor right now?
No, I struggle with that. And yeah, I just do my own thing with food, like what you guys are saying. Although, yeah, so my husband pretty much just eats what he wants to eat. I eat what I want to eat. Same thing with our son. And I think now my husband, they just know she won't eat that, or she won't go there, or whatever.
And so you have, like, do you eat at the same time, or you're not together at all during the meal?
So for me, I usually try to make my husband's like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now, is making his dinner.
Oh, what's for dinner?
Brussels sprouts with coconut oil and potatoes. We'll see. We'll see if he ate the lunch I made him, and if not,
what'd you make for lunch?
Oh, what he wanted was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. See, I would never eat that. But I threw in there some organic, like tomato, in a separate container, organic tomatoes and organic cabbage, and some cheese and some crackers and some cottage cheese that he likes.
So he takes that with him. It takes his lunch
Yeah.
bag. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And yeah,
that's nice
but
of you.
my love language is acts of service, so it makes me feel good to try to. And if I can make him food, then, and I'll text him, okay, you know, your dinner's ready or whatever, then he's less likely to go out to spend so much money on the garbage food, you know, at the fast food or the wherever else, because we all know that's so bad for you.
So what were you saying that did you say love food? That's my love food.
Love language.
Oh, my love language is acts of service. So like there's what, 4 or 5, I think it's by Gary Chapman, a book. Like some people like to receive material gifts, some people like to receive physical touch, some people like the acts of service, some people like quality time, some people like words of encouragement. And so for me, giving and receiving would be acts of service. Other people might be like, oh, that doesn't mean anything to me. Like our son says, just give me the gifts, you know, that type of thing.
That's great, Amy. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I'll be thinking about that now for the rest of today.
That's really nice.
That's very nice. Yeah, food and how we eat together or don't eat together, that's important. And how we sleep together is important. And that brings up the next topic, which is mouth breathing, nasal breathing, snoring. What do you have any problems with that? Or your husband?
No, thankfully. But I have a lot of people in my life who do. And I've tried to help with the mouth taping.
Mm-hmm.
And I have some mouth tape here. Just I wanted to test to see if I was opening my mouth at all at night, but I don't think that I do. But yeah.
I use mouth tape. I use mouth tape every night now, so it's very
Do
helpful.
you have trouble breathing out your nose at all?
Not that I noticed, but my husband has, and I've noticed I have snored, and snoring runs in my family, so I don't think it's a genetic thing, but I think that I associate it with comfort because my father used to snore quite loudly, and my bedroom was almost next to their bedroom. We had a bath that we shared. And so I would hear him snoring and it would make me feel safe.
Uh-huh.
So I have a positive association with it. Sometimes my husband would nudge me, or sometimes I would nudge him. And then I started using the tape when I read about that a couple of years ago. I put it in my book as a good thing to do. And it's been great, very helpful. Sometimes I notice I still snore even with the tape on, because if my jaw recedes back when I'm lying on my back, that closes off some of that breathing passage.
Mm.
And my brother he uses a big PAP machine, such
CPAP.
CPAP. I'm not going to use that. So
I know my boyfriend's mom has to have one, and yeah.
Did she try the mouth tape?
I'm trying to get my mother to use the mouth tape, but I cannot get her. And it's like if she doesn't, she's going to need the CPAP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's strange. I have a client. He just refuses to use the mouth tape because his doctor said something about it was dangerous. I thought, oh, that's so crazy. Yeah.
Well, I think the problem is my mom's allergies are so bad that it doesn't, like, she can't even breathe if she doesn't if she has mouth tape.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the concern.
I also work with people on their swallowing because a lot of us have TMJ, and some of that is from not learning to nurse as in an infancy. Well, just to survive. You pick up whatever pattern you can, you create whatever pattern you have. So, but as an adult, you can go back and look, where is your tongue when you're swallowing? Where is your tongue touching? Are you touching your front teeth? Are you touching your bottom teeth? If you swallow now, where do your teeth go? Where's your tongue go?
To the roof of my mouth.
Yeah, so it's best if you can touch about 1/4 of an inch behind your front teeth, that's where the tip of your tongue goes.
So you want it to be back more than it naturally would?
No, it sounds like you're naturally putting it there when you're swallowing.
I feel like I have a really big tongue.
Let's see your tongue. Stick your tongue out. I have to pin you to stick your tongue out. Let's see, pin. Okay, you don't have any scalloping on the edges. It doesn't look like.
I
Come
do.
close.
I do
come
have
closer.
some.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's a large tongue. It's a large tongue.
But
let me see. Your teeth you have a wide mouth though too. It seems like it would hold.
Yeah, yeah, I have a pretty big mouth. I have a big head.
Open your mouth. Now let your tongue rest.
It's hard for me to get it to rest in the back of my throat, like what Bonnie says.
Yeah, so I have a little difference of opinion on that. So since I've studied myofunctional therapy, and the tongue goes up to the roof of the mouth, that's where I encourage people to place their tongue there. That's part of the exercise routine that we have when you're practicing the retraining. When you're doing retraining exercises, you put your tongue on the roof of your mouth, 1/4 of an inch behind the front teeth, and you keep it there as much as you can.
It's like straining for me to bring it back away from 1/4 inch.
You
I
mean
can
to
feel
bring
it
it back, or to bring it?
like if I try to bring it further away from my teeth, like if you like, it feels like it's resting kind of like almost just against my teeth when I swallow.
That's
But
good.
to bring it back more is like a little bit of like I feel it in my occiput, like a little
Oh,
bit of
that's
like.
interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. So play with that. I'm not asking you to move your tongue all the way back, but your tongue creates an angle for the food to slide down. It touches at the tip, like 1/4 of an inch behind your front teeth. That's close to the front teeth. That's good. And then when you swallow, it should fall down like a chute in a truck. When truck lifts its end and it tilts the sand comes running down into your esophagus. So it sounds like you're already doing it with your tongue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's on the roof of my mouth for sure.
Amy, what about you?
I'm the same. When I swallow, my tongue goes to the upper ridge there.
Okay. You know, when you're breastfeeding as an infant, or if you're bottle fed, the milk can come in at a speed that's too fast. And so you learn to push your tongue forward when you're swallowing to keep from choking. And that sets up a forward tongue, a tongue thrust every time you're eating, chewing. Yeah. You know what that is?
My sister has that. That's what the dentist told her that she had, and then she had to get braces for it.
And did she do any retraining of the muscle?
No, and then her teeth went right back too.
Yeah, if you don't change the muscles, your teeth will go right back to it.
But it makes sense to me because we're identical twins. But I guess hers was more like pronounced.
And so you have the same mouth? She has a wide mouth?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a picture of her? I'd love to see her.
I can text one to you.
Okay. It's fun to see identical mouths. Yeah. So myofunctional therapy is a program to train people to swallow correctly. And so you have to break down the old patterns and then teach the new pattern. And you go through like 6 months of training, depending on how fast you can practice.
Wow.
and it involves pronunciation of words. And of course, where your tongue goes in your mouth has a big effect on how you pronounce words.
Oh my God, of course. I've always struggled with that too. I feel like my tongue gets in the way.
You put your T goes to the top of the mouth, your T and L words, top, T, time, to, touch, lip, lid, lean, line. Those are some of the vocabulary words that you practice for the tip of your tongue. And
That's
then
what you want it to touch the top tip of your mouth?
yeah,
The top.
top tip starts with that. Yeah. And then the back of your tongue is beg. When you say beg, bake,
Beg.
cake, you see that the back of the tongue goes up. Bake, egg, to make the
That's
g.
so interesting.
Yeah. So you can play with your sounds and the action of your tongue. Okay, I'm going to remove that pin. Here we go. Let's get to, yeah. Breathing through your nose increases nitric oxide, a gas that's made from nitrogen, which optimizes brain function, lowers blood pressure, improves blood oxygen. Nose breathing moisturizes your nostrils and prevents dry mouth, gingivitis, and even helps prevent dental decay. Before you put on your lips, before you put on your mouth tape, you can put a little moisturizer on your lips, and bend the edges to make it easier to remove in the morning. So if people want to buy it, you can get on mouth tape. I get it on Amazon. I use the kinesio tape for my mouth. I don't know if you have any of that. It's pretty heavy. But mouth tape isn't strong enough for me to keep my lips together. So, okay. So, you know, when you sleep, your brain shrinks, and then so the fluids can flush out all the debris from your activities during the day. So your body can detoxify your brain, repair what is necessary. So when you don't sleep, you pay the price of high blood pressure, fatigue, rapid heart rate, inflammation, and not breaking down chemicals and proteins into their metabolites to be excreted. So we know the value of sleep, the importance of sleep. I love the idea of your brain being washed while you're sleeping. It actually shrinks so the fluids can swim around, remove those metabolites.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. And nitric oxide is now made into, well, nitrate you can take in the form of a tablet. You can go to listen to Dr. Nathan Bryan on nitric oxide, and he's probably the foremost expert on nitric oxide that I've heard of, I think, in the country. And he's manufacturing a product called N2O, N2O, which is nitric oxide, and U, the letter U. So it looks kind of funny. I have that bottle here. It's wonderful if you can afford it, which is questionable for me, but I can't have, I have a lot of supplements though. But if you have NO2U, it's really good for you.
What does the nitric oxide do?
It opens your blood vessels so the blood flows more freely, which will improve your blood pressure if you have high blood pressure. It also will calm the nervous system. It has a multitude of effects, nitric oxide. It's a gas, and your body produces it naturally. But they have a formula where you take the nitrate, which is here, in your mouth, your body converts the nitrate to nitrite. And in your stomach, the nitrite gets converted, if you have enough hydrochloric acid, to nitric oxide. And like I said, that's a gas, and that gets carried through the body. But if you use mouthwash, it'll kill your microbiome in your mouth and you will not be able to convert nitrate. So make sure you're not using mouthwash or fluoride or things that kill your microbiome in your mouth.
That's the one thing that I have a hard time with is the fluoride toothpaste. For a while, I wasn't using the fluoride,
Mm-hmm.
but then it doesn't really ever feel clean like it does with
I know. You know, I was like that too. I felt that too. But I just kept examining it and trying different products. And I'm using Tom's fluoride-free peppermint. So it was really about the peppermint. So as long as I have that peppermint and I'm using it, I brush my tongue, I brush my teeth, I'm okay. In fact, I've converted. Now, my son is doing oil pulling. He's brushing his teeth with oil. He's using oil, coconut oil. It swishes that around in his mouth to pull out debris. I don't know if that's effective, but we'll see. The dental bills will be coming in.
Is he interested? Is he like health minded?
He is health-minded.
Great.
For
He
what
doesn't-
it's
he-
worth,
Great example.
Huh?
I
Said he-
just finished. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry, I spoke over you, Amy.
I think I spoke over you guys. You guys are talking about
Please
oil
join it.
pulling. But I make my own toothpaste. I just finished doing that.
Oh, that's amazing.
You use baking soda and
Yeah.
do you use
And
any?
arrowroot powder, salt, sea salt, and of course the peppermint oil.
Mm-hmm.
But I really
sounds
like
good.
it. It's cheap. You don't have to pay for any of the packaging or the ecology of any of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been a good thing for me.
And so does it make a paste or use it as a powder?
So you make it the consistency that you want it, you know?
Do you put coconut oil in it to change the consistency?
Yes, I'm sorry if I didn't mention the coconut oil. Yeah.
Okay. Coconut oil, salt,
Yeah,
baking
coconut oil,
baking powder.
salt, baking soda, arrowroot powder. And then
Why use the
peppermint oil.
arrowroot? Yeah, why use arrowroot? And you can use fresh mint leaves for that matter. But
Yeah.
why use arrowroot?
Supposed to be good for you. It's supposed to be good for oral health.
That's interesting. I have to check that out.
Yeah. And you could
Okay.
put some cream of tartar in there if you wanted to thicken it too, you know. But I really do like that.
I'm looking up arrowroot. Starch is an easily digested starch extracted from the roots of the arrowroot plant. It's gluten-free and can be used as a direct substitute for cornstarch. It has no flavor. It can be used to thicken any sauce, soup, stew, or pudding. So maybe that's a thickener.
Maybe so.
Yeah. It's been used for a home remedy for digestive disorders for years. There might be a medical basis for using arrowroot to combat diarrhea and IBS. And it has 25% starch, which acts as a mild laxative, and that's thus helping digestion and can regulate the bowel movement.
I have a really good, if you guys like shortbread cookies, I have a really good recipe using arrowroot starch.
Using what?
So
Using what?
I have a recipe using arrowroot starch. If you like shortbread cookies, instead of using wheat flour, you use the arrowroot, and it fits really good.
Oh.
That sounds amazing.
I could try that. You could send that out if you want.
Say it again.
You could send that to us if you want, so we could see the cookie recipe.
Yeah, if I could be organized, find it.
How come you're in the
but-
dark now?
Because I'm headed out for just 20 minutes to try to get some light. I haven't been outside today.
Oh, goodness. Definitely want to go out. Is it
Yeah.
completely dark? Are you in a room that has no light?
I'm just turning off the lights so I can get out of here. Just for a second.
Gosh, it looks so dark in there.
Sorry. Temporary.
Hard to get a room that's really dark during the daytime in my house because I have these windows. Okay. Okay, so we'll continue here. We talk about melatonin. If rituals don't help you with your sleep and the sleep apnea isn't a problem, melatonin might be the answer. This is a hormone naturally produced by the pineal gland in your brain when darkness falls, helps you go to sleep. It breaks down in the presence of light in the morning. So that's why if you've taken your melatonin at night, it's great to be up in the morning so you can break down that sleepiness that may still be lingering. That's one way. If you take melatonin, you're still sleepy the next day, it means you've taken too much. So when that happens, it's very important to get in the sunlight to help you break down that melatonin. So insomnia, melatonin might be more beneficial for older adults who could be melatonin deficient. Yeah, as you get older, you tend to produce less melatonin. And you can use it in jet lag. You probably already do, or if you have to shift your work time, work at night, and then suddenly you're working back in the daytime. I recommend it to people. I recommend people not take jobs that keep them up at night because that can build up a lot of toxicity in the body and problems. So I had somebody who was a detective. She worked at night and she developed lupus, which is not an easy thing to work with. So I said to her, you need to change your work time. So work during the day. And another person who came in who was in pain, who was a guard, security guard, and oh, his schedule was terrible. He had like Monday, Tuesday, work all night, and then skip a day, and then go back to work all night a day later. I mean, it was erratic. So he never got to settle into a rhythm for sleeping. So it's good to, you can try that with children too. You can talk to your doctor about that. But I know I take it and I find it very helpful. And if you want to try it yourself, you start with the smallest dose, which would be 0.5 milligrams. So you can find that. There was a company called Cardiovascular Research, which produced the 0.5 milligrams. So you see if that helps. If you don't sleep well, then double the dose for the next night. So you're taking 1 milligram. And then you can increase it by the small increments until you feel groggy during the next day. And that tells you, oh, I took a half a milligram too much. So you back up to your earlier dosage, and that's how you find your correct dosage. Sometimes if you have too much or you build it up over time, you can get nightmares and it may not work for you at all. So everybody's different. And if I take too much, I can get nightmares from that. So, all right. So let's look at the stress, letting go of stress. We have in my chapter, the first part of it says, is your nervous system reversed? So one of the great takeaways in body-mind centering is how to calm the nervous system. Your nerves, your sensory nerves, which send messages to your brain from your organs, are constructed so that input comes back into your body and comes into the back of your body and exits through the front. The front of the body is where the motor nerves are extending. When you get overly excited or stressed, your nerves are filled with the stimulus so much that it starts to overflow. And so instead of coming from the back, you can start feeling overwhelmed because it's coming from into the front where it's not supposed to be coming. So that means there's no way to process all that stimulation and all that stress. So you just freeze or you even explode. So if you feel overly stressed, give yourself time to stop and realize that you're at the limit of your tolerance. So you can still be respectful to yourself, respect others, and just close down your receptors. So back away and give yourself time to process your feelings. So you set a great example for others, especially children, by not losing your temper, by respecting your limits and giving yourself more time. Then you can slow down your beating heart and relax sooner than later. So I put a link to Bonnie Cohen on YouTube. If you want to, I can play that for you. If you lose control, you are then driven by your reactions and have lost your freedom to choose and express yourself so you can be heard. Being defensive, resentful, angry, and locked in your reactions will prevent the open-heartedness that builds closeness between people. So let's look at Bonnie's. So she says it so beautifully. I think it's important to see. Are you okay with that?
Of course.
Okay. Let me put it on share. Share. Go advanced portion of the screen and share. Okay, so this is Bonnie Cohen. Bonnie's about to teach. Amy, you might be interested in her seminars.
I'm about to begin teaching myself, so I won't be able to do that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Do you teach every day?
No, but there's a whole lot of preparation.
Okay.
What do you teach?
I teach children around the world Bible study fellowship online, and I have like 4 hours of preparation even before my first leaders meeting this Saturday morning. So I have a lot even ahead.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Also, you get a lot of the feeling as we go along here of body mind centering. It's through osmosis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here's Bonnie.
Oh, we can't hear it.
Okay, so sitting in the synapse. The synapse is the place where the nerves come together and there's a space between them, and that space is called the synapse. And that's where the neurotransmitters go from one end of the nerve to the other end and across the synapse. So Bonnie's saying, you know, if you're upset, and now she's just practicing now, you're going to sit in the synapse. So you're going to be calm. You're going to be able to process. You're not forcing information in or forcing information out. The nerve is just resting. So here we go. We're going to sit in the synapse together.
We can't hear it.
You can't hear? Okay. Oh, I realize I have to take off my headset. Oops. Wait a second. You still can't hear, right? I can't hear it.
No.
Let's see. Let me go into sharing. I'm not sure why that's not working.
Do you want me to try playing it?
Let me turn the Bluetooth off and let's see if that makes a difference. Let me try another computer audio.
Try this. Um, can you find it, Barbara?
Yeah, I just brought it up.
Oh, good.
I don't know if it'll let me.
You might be able, you have to press share. Do you know how to do Zoom?
I might need, I might not be able to. I think you have to be a host to screen. Oh, share. Hold on, let's see. Share. This will stop other screen sharing. Do you want to continue? Is that okay?
Yeah. I don't know if I can, yeah, go ahead and try it. It's probably cut off this video. Yeah.
300 pounds. I made a sacred commitment.
Do you hear that?
It's going to lose
Yeah.
weight.
It is not to figure out.
Can you go back to the beginning?
Just to
Sorry.
Can you go to the beginning?
now. Would like you to sit in the synapse for what I'm going to say.
But now we don't see her.
You don't see her?
No.
Sarah.
You see her?
Yeah.
You see Bonnie?
Yep.
That's interesting.
What
I
do you see?
I see you.
Huh.
I see you and Amy, and then I see myself.
Says I'm screen sharing.
Maybe I need to, says. Let's see. Okay, well, go ahead, because I'll just listen to her.
Do you want me to play the whole thing, or just let me know when if you want me to pause it?
You're on 8 minutes. It's 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, play the whole thing.
And
It
Sarah,
is not
just so you know,
figured out.
I have to be done right at the hour.
Okay, appreciate that.
Is this loud enough?
Yeah.
I'd like it a little louder if you can.
Let's do. My question many years ago continues to be, but what happens when more information comes in than we can process? That was just a self question, and looking at the nervous system. One of the things I found in myself and with others was what. Remember to keep just feeling the information coming in the back and out the front. That's your job. Not to do what I say. Okay? You're gonna listen to what I say, but just keep coming in the front and the back. Is that clear?
But that's not sitting in the synapse because it's coming out.
Well, that's the cycle of it. It's coming, just like keep coming in and then let it go. Okay, thank you. That's let the cycle be. It comes in, goes where it wants to go. If you're going to go out front, you go in. What I feel happens when more information comes in than we can process in order to save our life so we don't die of shock. Too much nervousness, I don't mean die of shock, but rather to deal with something that comes in that we can't handle, we refuse the information into the posterior. Go back, I can't process this now, I need more time. And so it goes back into the tissues and says tissues hold this pattern until it can be processed. And little by little, when we sit in the synapse, we can take little by little that information in and process it, either into a motor act, into an emotional understanding or expression, or intellectual awareness. That are hard we will see next week and absorb. And this theory, or this experiential theory, came about 30 years ago, and maybe 20 years ago or something, I don't remember, I'm not a good counter. Somebody found in the literature, I think it was around 86, that there was some support that there could be a reversal in the posterior nerve path. And whether the scientists have found it or not, I think it was a sheep or something, that it's really important to not force information in that we can't receive. To accept all the things in our history that we have not been able to absorb. And to little by little allow information in that we don't have to do anything about except to accept. And to sit with it. And to choose the easy path. Because as information comes in that caused great tension or great whatever, if we get into the membrane, we can re-experience it in a way that doesn't actually help us come through it. We just reenact it. But if we find the easy path, just go under the tongue and say, this bit I accept. But don't force anything in that causes more stress than you can process through sitting in the center. Now, this is a large group, so always be aware of how much support you can receive. Because usually when we carry something that has caused us pain or discomfort or whatever we want to call it, stress, we haven't had the support we need to process. So if it's an individual session, a private session, there's more support available than there is in a group. But the group can support in a different way than an individual. One of the people who helped me understand this was a man who had a chronic back problem, a very successful businessman in New York. And he said, the phone can just ring and my back hurts. I said, what would happen if you didn't answer? He didn't answer the phone. I said, just sit and listen out. Just sit with it. Let the hear the phone ring. And you don't have to do anything but hear it ring. And that was the key to healing. Because he began to feel it in the rest of his life. So we're not inhibiting. In a way, we're inhibiting, but it's not like, stop, I'm not gonna answer the phone. That's a motor act. It's just hear the phone ring. You don't have to turn the ringer off. Just accept that the phone's ring. And where you can, let the information in the back and out.
Okay, it's 3 minutes to 6 and Amy has to
You need to
stop.
reject it in the back, except that that's too much.
So I think we got the nugget, the gold in that. So that was beautiful. And thank you for that. I just want to thank you guys for coming today and participating. This was our 4th day And tomorrow is our last day. Kind of flew by. We've covered a lot of topics. Do you have any questions or comments?
Thank you
I
very much for being so timely, Sarah. And so tomorrow we start 4 o'clock your time, 3 o'clock my time, and 1 o'clock Barbara's time, right?
That's right.
And it's just for an hour.
Just for an hour.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
both.
Sarah.
Many prayers, many blessings.
Good to be with you both again.
Thank you.
Farewell, friends.
Farewell, friends.
Bye.